If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down.
I came to realize life is that gift from God, and I think even when life begins in that horrible situation of rape, that it is something that God intended to happen.
I can see the grimacing from Bill when I hear this. There's soul searching going on right now in the Republican Party, and it's funny, we bring up Reagan and his commandments, one of which is, you know, thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican or go after them, and then also the idea of a big tent philosophy. It seems those lessons from the 80s are forgotten today. Does the party get just how bad it was Tuesday?
Although Reagan developed that amendment after he beat up Gerald Ford, so to get the to get in there. There seems to be a tendency after every election to draw conclusions immediately, and I think you have to resist that. You have to go through the self-flagellation process where you question every tenet of your party, and I think it's a ridiculous thing. No, I think it's a ridiculous thing to do.
Don't worry, we'll help with the flagellation.
Yeah, I know you'll help with the flagellation. I mean, the Republicans lost the election. There's no question it was by a greater margin than anybody could have guessed. But I think the things that have to be tweaked rather than a wholesale change of the party.
You don't change it instinctively when you hear the Hannitys of the world, for crying out loud, talking about a new immigration policy here that they did a 180 on, that the party seems willing to acknowledge that they could be a regional party if they're not careful.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge your faults. You have to address your faults. Our weakness with Hispanic voters was known before this election. We didn't do a good enough job of getting out there.
Down deep, you guys closed the door. 50 biggest consultants in the country. Do they think it was the message or the messenger that cost Romney?
I think it was probably the messenger, in my opinion.
Really?
In my opinion.
He's right. They only need to tweak. It was the messenger. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with their ideas. My great hope is that you persuade your colleagues that that is the only problem you have, because you'll become the Whigs, W-H-I-G-S, of America.
But every 2 years?
It's not. It's important that we have two vital
I'm the one
and
wearing
viable.
the American flag.
It's important that we have two vital and viable parties so that they can come up with counter
Rick, by the way, he's
ideas
got
to
a
one
piece
another.
that's going up in the Huffington Post here tonight, the 10 big reasons, and he uses the word sluts, so definitely
take a look.
Give me your biggie. Like, at the end of the day, it was the 47%. Was it that Romney never could win? Because you, let me remind you, a couple weeks ago said, I think it's looking Romney.
Yeah, but I also said before Obama won that the race was over and Obama was going to be reelected.
You take both sides.
The reason,
right. You're the John Kerry of
I think one of the parties is going to win.
And on that note, we'll take a break here. We're going to keep the conversation going online. What caused the GOP the House? Messenger. Okay, more uplifting stuff. The fiscal cliff coming up next. Stay with us.
More uplifting.